Good morning, world. How we doing today? It's a good day to be in the neighborhood. This is the 5th Ward Wildcat. We're sitting around now at the table, hanging out with my good padre and my road dog. Who are you, sir?
It's me, the one and only, man. This is KG, and you're listening to another installment of the KG and 5th Ward Wildcat podcast. This is our second one of the week. It's a Saturday. We're doing things a little different. We're about to head over to the House of Tudor to watch the Rice House men's team open the season. And let's do this. We're going to do things a little differently. Not many scores to talk about, but Wildcat, get what you got.
All right. The SWAC, folks. Football today. Grambling State, 29, Texas Southern 25, Arkansas Pine Bluff 15, Mississippi Valley 3, Jackson State 34, Alabama A&M 6. Men's basketball, Notre Dame 80, Mississippi Valley 67, football Southern 26, Alabama State 23, women's basketball Southern SMU 76, and Alcorn 54. You had a score on the Prairie View situation, sir?
Prairie View won as we started this podcast. They blasted Alcorn State 40-14 on the road. PV is 5-3 in the Western Division. So with Grambling went over TSU, PV and Grambling are both tied at 5-3 in the West, but PV has a tiebreaker. So all PV needs to do is win homecoming, and they will represent the Western Division in the SWAC championship game, sir, in Birmingham.
And what else is on the agenda today? You know, we got time today, a little time today. We wanted to finish up, wrap up some things that we talked about earlier this week. One of those that Penn State had a game today against Nebraska. They've pretty much resolved some of the issues, and now it pretty much falls on the Board of Regents. One of those is that the interim coach will have his shot at attempting to hold on to the job and hold the team together. I don't know what that final score is right now.
17-14. Penn State lost to Nebraska 17-14.
Well, it was one of those type of games and all that was needed as far as doing some healing on campus, but I still feel for the victims that were of that situation that involves Penn State University. The other, do you have anything else to add to that?
Not much to add. I mean, I didn't see the game. I was at a high school game, so I didn't see it. I know, based on some of the tweets, that Nebraska and Penn State players before the game united at midfield, and they held hands and said a prayer. Had a moment of silence, for the victims, and so that was a touching moment. Coach Paterno has been fired. I think a lot of other jobs are in jeopardy. I want to touch on this, though. A lot of folks who don't listen, who may not know, this is not the first scandal involving Penn State University. And our colleague on the women's basketball side, Michelle Opel, wrote an excellent article earlier this week about women's basketball coach Rennie Portland and her reign at Penn State.
Oh,
and it is a story this article that needs to be read. Long story short, Coach Portland she got rid of players who she thought were lesbians. Did not know for a fact that they were, even if she thought had hints that they were. She got rid of them. And she was at Penn State quite a while, but the university didn't do anything about it. They may have changed school philosophy, school policies, allowed her to continue as head coach. A lawsuit, I know one lawsuit was filed by a player who was removed by Coach Portland, and because she quote unquote fit the stereotypical mold of whatever that means for that lesbian's style of dress or whatever. So Penn State ultimately got rid of her, Coach Portland, and my friend, former Comet point guard Coquise Washington, is the head coach at Penn State, and she's doing a very good job up there leading the Nittany Lions, and they in fact were picked preseason favorite to win the Big Ten. So read Michelle Opel's article on ESPN.com in the women's hoops section to get more information about it. But trust me, it's not the first time that Penn State regime hid things regarding their coaches on the athletic side.
And lastly, and we'll move to the next subject, to be informed is to be given information. Go online and get the link to the grand jury indictment and read all, and I repeat this, all 23 pages. And it is not for the weak of heart, and make sure you have a strong stomach.
And on a less serious note, I guess, it's still serious in nature, but completely different area, NBA lockout.
I wanted to tweet you. I wanted to text you or whatever to find out how things were going, because when we got done on last evening, I was pretty much wore out, so I went and got some rest. Got up this morning and taking care of what I need to take care of. And this is my first time online, and I haven't yet to go and check. But please tell me something is headed in a good direction.
I can't tell you that, sir.
I know the ultimatum was in paperwork, pretty much was laid on the table yesterday.
Earlier this week, Commissioner Stern spoke to the gathered media, the tired, exhausted media who's tired of covering this crap, excuse me, and said that basically the owners changed their proposals, and they presented a new proposal to the players and gave the players till Wednesday to agree to the deal, and if so, a 72-game schedule could begin on December 15th. Commissioner Stern was, fairly confident that the players would agree to it, and that Billy Hunter, the executive director for the Players Union and the president of the union, could sell a deal. Basically, it's still a 50-50 deal, which the players agreed to. The players have agreed to the 50-50 split of the basketball-related income. But their problems are some of the system issues regarding free agency, length of contracts, things like that. So far, word coming out, the players will not agree to the deal. The players, there's enough signatures to vote on decertification. So if that happens, this could all blow up, and the season 2011-2012 season could be blown to bits. But they're the rank and file players, the players who don't make the average $5 million salary. Some of those guys want to put it to a vote. They want to put the owner's proposal to a vote. And if that happens, a lot of people believe that the agreement the proposal will be agreed upon, and the season will start in December. So what the player representatives will meet on Monday in New York to discuss the owner's proposal and then decide what they're going to do. And from their point of view, it seems like they're going to recommend that the players not agree to the proposal, and then that leaves possibilities of decertification or other issues to get things moving. And their hope is that if they stand firm and maintain their resolve, that the owners will make a better offer rather than the offer that is currently on the table. They reportedly have 240 signatures ready to vote for decertification or quote-unquote disclaimer of interest, which is a quicker process, and disband the union immediately. So there are a lot of things. It's still a fluid situation. Personally, Wildcat, I love the NBA. I love covering the Rockets. I love covering NBA basketball. But college basketball is here. And if they don't agree to a deal and the season is gone down the toilet, I said earlier this week, I could care less. We can move on to something else and focus on college games and make plans to appear in Denver for the Women's Final Four in April. So there's my thoughts on that.
And now, with that being said, we just say we're going over into college sports. Yesterday we had the opportunity to witness.
Hold that thought, because I want to read some of the details of the owner's proposal. Okay. And then we can go. We can go from there.
Like you said, college sports is here to stay.
Right. Okay. The mid-level exception. This is in the New York Times by Howard Beck, NBA beat writer, done a great job covering the lockout. Here are some of the bullet points. The mid-level exception for tax-paying teams would be worth $3 million with a max 3-year contract and could be used annually. The the league had proposed $2.5 million with a 2-year maximum for use every other year. So that's one change in the owner's proposal. A new exception worth $2.5 million for up to 2 years was created for teams that are just below the salary cap. In other words, with less than $2.5 million of cap room. Tax-paying teams would retain the right to conduct sign-and-trade deals in the first 2 years of the agreement, but would be banned from doing so starting in the 3rd year. Previously, the league proposed banning them immediately. The minimum team salary would be set at 85% of the cap, so that's the salary floor. Would be set at 85% of the cap and increase to 90% in 3rd year of the deal. So that means teams would have to, like the Clippers, who are cheap, would have to spend 90% of their salary cap amount in year 3. Next, players signed using the so-called Larry Bird rights would get 6.5% raises, annual raises, up from the 5.5% in their original offer by the owners. Players who signed contracts below the average salary would be eligible for opt-out clauses, which are otherwise banned except in limited situations. And then lastly, the 10-year labor deal would include a mutual opt-out after the 6th year at the union's request instead of the 7th. So that's one of the things the players have been pushing for. The players said they did not want to agree to a 10-year deal. They were voting for 6 years. Some of those points were things that the players had argued for and wanted in negotiating. So some of these things seem like this is what they want. So I'm still curious as to where they're going to go with this, and we'll go from there. So there you go on some of the bullet points, some of the changes that the owners proposed and submitted to the players. The players will discuss and contemplate on Monday, the player reps, and decide if they're going to accept it, say no to it, decertify the union, file a disclaimer of interest or whatever. By Wednesday, we'll find out what's going on. I guess we'll have another podcast discussing this crap next week or the week after that. But now, getting back to college basketball and things that are actually on the court.
True. Now, let me start with 2 games that were on the road. HBU men lost in a heartbreaker to Campbell on the road, 82-68, while the Lady Huskies went on the road to one of our favorite friends' palace, the Hilton Coliseum in Ames, Iowa.
And got bazookaed.
And they basically were turned away at the door and said, "Don't y'all come in. Please don't come in." They lost 73-33.
But I didn't read the entire game summary. The Huskies actually led in that game by 8 points in the first half.
Do you think that was before Bill stood up and said, and called one of those famous timeouts?
Well, I'm wondering how much talking he's doing since he's still recovering from the throat surgery. But, Huskies went scoreless for 11 minutes, and the 8-point lead they had ended up being a 40-point loss. So,
It happens. It happens, folks. It happens.
And so the women's, Huskies, their next game is going to be Sunday, actually, on the road versus Missouri, Kansas City. And I think the fellas' next game is at home, I think.
Yeah.
So,
but now, we got a chance yesterday to venture out over to the campus of Texas Southern University and watch the midday Kid Day game against Texas Southern Lady Tigers against Norfolk State Spartans.
And this allowed me to say this. You'll get a gist of how the game went, listeners. This is my write-up on my HoustonRoundBarView.com website. The Lady Tigers played a great first half. Friday morning, the Lady Tigers played a great first half. Friday afternoon, the Lady Tigers played an awful second half.
What was that, a 15-minute break?
What happened at that half break, that 15-minute timeout? They couldn't make a basket. They couldn't stop anybody on defense. So
it wasn't good, folks.
So all of the middle school students who were there for middle school day did not see a Tigers victory, a Lady Tigers victory. So, but the first half was impressive. I mean, you and I were both impressed. The Tigers actually put the ball in the basket. They shot 45% in the first half, which is like double what they shot sometimes last year. But then the second half,
and they actually moved the ball.
They shot 25% in the second half and returned to their previous ways and not making a basket.
And we actually, to sit down and watch, first it was truly a tale of 2 halves. I don't know whether it was something went transpired. What went on in the locker room, but whatever it was, it wasn't good. Because it came out in second half. How long did it take them to get a score?
Norfolk State scored the first 10 points, up to 8 points out of the second half. The game was tied at 49-50. And then Norfolk State finished the game with like a 30-8 run. So that's
transition basketball is not TSU's forte this season. I'll put like this early on from what we could see yesterday.
Despite the fact that they do have some athletes. They're young, they're very young.
And
I think Coach Broughton told us they have, a total of 10 new players, 7 freshmen, 3 JUCOs.
Transfers and JUCOs and freshmen. It was just a combination thing. But did you mention yesterday on our ride up to Prairie View that Norfolk State was
dead last
in the MEAC. And I'm going to tell you, the team that I saw yesterday, that team is going to finish in the middle of the pack unless the MEAC must be one hell of a conference.
Yeah, I'm going to say the exact same thing, because if that's the last place team in the MEAC, damn, MEAC is a great conference.
I mean, it was something else to see. And now, in referencing Texas Southern, love them dearly, but right now they look like a first half team and can't finish. And I don't know where they go to from here to early on to correct that, because now they go on the road for a bunch of games.
No. Their next game is at home.
Really?
Saturday, 19th versus Air Force. So then they start their road trip.
That's even worse.
After the game, Coach Broughton spoke to both of us. She likes her team. She likes her point guard.
She actually said she loved her team.
She loves her team. She likes the point guard.
And to be honest with you, since she's been there, this is the first time that you and I have actually heard those words out of her voice. She loves this squad, and she's going to fall with them. And
video I don't know if it's posted yet, but in my write-up, like I said, my recap is on my website with quotes from Coach Broughton. That game was over mid-afternoon. Like Wildcat referenced a few minutes ago, we took a break, headed up to 90 and watched Prairie View women play the Rice Owls. It was competitive. It was hard fought.
A lot more competitive than it was last year.
It was, they didn't play last year. And I want to say this. They played in the same tournament. PV played in Hackerman Invitational. PV won the Hackerman Invitational, but Rice lost in the opening game that Friday night.
That's right.
And did not get a chance to play Prairie View in the championship game. So Prairie View won Rice's tournament last year, and Prairie View beat Rice Friday night 61-58. Kudos to the students who came and heckled the hell out of Rice throughout the ball game.
Behind the bench. I mean, literally, folks that were hanging over the rails.
And let me tell you, Prairie View's young. Prairie View's got, I think Coach Toya Wilson said she has 10 new players, or 9 new players, or whatever. Freshman team. She got some athletes on that team. There is not a lot of difference between the Prairie View women's team and the Rice Owls women's team. Athlete for athlete, they pretty much stood toe-to-toe. The Owls missed 13 free throws. Jessica Custer, sophomore for the Owls, had finished with 22 points, 18 rebounds, but she missed 7 free throws, which could have helped the Rice win the ball game. The Owls had a chance to tie the game up down the stretch, but the missed free throws, missed opportunities. Owls missed so many layups and free throws and just missed opportunities, everything. It was a game that Rice could have won, but they didn't. Give kudos to Prairie View for winning the game.
And yesterday, finishing the game, bad decision.
Yes.
They started pressing. I mean, not defensively pressing, but they started pressing as far as rushing shots.
Yes.
Not showing patience when they needed to finish.
They didn't get the ball to Custer in the post enough. Even when they did, she missed less, which didn't help the cause. They didn't get the ball to Crystal Porter, freshman Crystal Porter, who both you and I are impressed with her performance last night. Rice Owls have some good young freshmen too. Coach Greg Williams spoke to us after the game. He likes his freshmen. He told us point blank that Crystal Porter's going to play a lot this year, because he believes in her and because she can play. And I tell you, I'd really like the combination up front of Custer and Porter for the next 3 years for the Owls. Custer being a sophomore, Crystal Porter being a freshman this season. They're going to be good. They're going to be good to reckon with. However, let me backtrack and point this out. Wednesday at Rice Owls Women's Basketball Media Day, I spoke to 6 or 7 other players. players I spoke to all said they were going to beat Prairie View. Said they are confident that they beat Prairie View Friday, maybe 1-0. Well, they didn't win the game. Rice is now 0-1. The next game, Game 2, will be Sunday afternoon in Stillwater versus Oklahoma State, which will not be easy. That's a Big 12 team. Now, the Cowgirls will be without probably their best player, Tony Young, who's still riding suspension. But it's a road game, so we'll see if the improvement from Game 1 and Game 2 will benefit the house and come home with a victory. But kudos to Prairie View for picking up the victory. And video is of the interview featuring Wildcat and myself is on YouTube. You can see there's a link to it at Prairie View's website. There's a link to the video also on my website. So you can see what we look like if you don't know already, and and see for yourself and watch the video. Thanks to Ryan McGinty, our friend and colleague, SID at Prairie View, for posting that on our YouTube. So, what else is there to talk to before we head over to Rice and watch the men's team play New Orleans?
On Thursday night, because that happened after our last
yes, the Cougars
just drove.
Thank you for that, because we can talk about
another milestone for the Cougars. Well, let's give Conference USA, because I'm getting scores up and all. Right now, it's Navy 24, it's Southern Methodist 10. Fourth quarter late with 8:14 to go. UAB is losing to Memphis. Third quarter with 5:02 left to go. 28-17. Marshall lost to Tulsa this afternoon, 59-17.
And Tulsa is now what in the Western Division, sir?
They are now 6-0, just like the Cougars.
Correct. Which means what, sir?
Down the road, last game of the season at Skilly Stadium in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They will be playing Houston Cougars, hosting the Houston Cougars. And that will be my game of the week.
And it's a massively important game. Both teams are undefeated as of this podcast, but the Cougars' next game will be final home game of the season for the Cougars Senior Day.
Yeah.
Saturday, November 19th, 2:30 kickoff versus SMU.
And they're losing right now.
And the game and ESPN's College Game Day will be in the house. We'll be on campus.
In the Big Head.
We'll be at the University of Houston. Bring your signs. Get on TV. It is a great thing for my school. I love my school, and I'm very proud to see the University of Houston receiving national recognition. It is just a great. More details will be announced throughout the week leading up to Saturday. But it is outstanding. I'm sure students and alums will be arriving at the Rob Friday night or Saturday morning, getting ready for the game day experience, college game day experience. And the Cougars are now 10-0 after just running all over Tulane, 73-17 on Thursday night, becoming, I think, the first team in Conference USA history to score 70-plus points in the same season. It is a good thing to be. It's good to be a Cougar right now, Houston Cougar. The Cougars got to beat SMU. They got to beat Tulsa because they first got to win conference championship. They got to win the Western Division first. So they still got 2 games to go in that, get that job done, and then beat Southern Miss in the East from the Eastern Division to win the Conference USA championship. And then who knows? If they're undefeated, it's a possibility that they could get into the BCS conversation and be on a BCS bowl. And boy, oh boy, wouldn't that be something to see? Something I never thought I'd see.
We'll be going bowling, folks. This is why I can't be going bowling. And I'm talking about football bowling.
Yes, sir. And who'd have thought that started the season?
And I think I'll be able to drag my basketball compadre down the road with that game, especially if it's close. Like if it's in New Orleans,
ain't no doubt.
I'd beat him down if he would come. We're going on the road.
No doubt.
Rolling with the Wildcat down on the road.
Yes, sir.
The last time we was creeping and all done.
Yeah, but that's all right. Get an opportunity to go. I would definitely make that trip. Yes, sir.
And we can spot out. We can check out the new sites down in
See, now you talk too much on the podcast, sir. So you leave a few secrets for the listeners to wonder about what we do in our private time.
But New Orleans is New Orleans, though.
Yes, sir.
Good food, no, shoot. I tell you what, it'd be good.
And let me talk about this. We touched on Rice Isles men's team starting their season Saturday night versus New Orleans. The Houston Cougars men's team also plays Saturday night home game versus Grambling State. The Cougars put on this awesome show versus Concordia. We talked about that earlier podcast. We'll see now that they're playing for real. Matchup versus Grambling State. And the Cougars have another game on Monday. So, two of the 19 home games are taking place Saturday and Monday for the men's team, Coach Dickey. And real quickly, we touch on U of H men signed two nationally ranked players in Daniel House and Dan Rad, Chicken Knowles.
Coach says, we know him Bass Chicken.
That's right.
And like somebody was joking on the free airways. There's a lot of places around here to sell chicken around in the neighborhood. So somebody be doing a hell of a marketing job for his time here.
Hopefully. I mean, it'd be smart, to market them and tie it all in and benefit the program. The Cougars men's game Monday will be versus Utah Valley. So,
team out of Great West Conference, same as conference as HBU.
For now, because the Southland Conference representatives were on campus of HBU on November 9th. And it seems like
that's going to get done.
It's going to get done, and the HBU will be joining the Southland Conference in the very near future.
And I'm happy for that crew over there. They've worked hard to move up to Division I, and it will serve them well. As far as their travel, they're probably one of the few schools in this area that's looking at their budget situation and who they are and where they want to be, and not venture out beyond that. And I say that because too much is being done and driven by football without care for your Olympic sports. And HBU is taking that into consideration and down the road. The other thing that came up too last night, I heard word that once they make the move for the new conference affiliation, this is HBU now, they will, that rumor or the little filtering out that has come out about them stepping out into the football world, they will be that will be done, and they will be also sharing the downtown stadium.
Cool. With TSU and Dynamo.
Yes.
So fantastic.
So folks, you will have no excuse to be getting a decent sport dollar for dollar.
That's fantastic.
Everybody can't go to the Texans can't afford the Texans on a regular basis, but you can definitely afford to see some college sports and some high school sports.
That sounds good. And Wednesday was national signing day for the fall period. We talked about U of H men signing Daniel House and Chicken Nose. There's two talented players, young men who will really have already energized men's basketball and have fans looking forward to next season already. But U of H women signed 5 players on Wednesday. See if I can remember off the top of my head here. Marsha Emerson, Taylor and Tyler Gilbert, Alicia Smith, and Bianca Winslow. And yes, Bianca Winslow is the daughter of Houston Cougar alum Ricky Winslow.
Great alum.
And that's the 5 players they signed. On Friday, they signed another young lady who was ranked top 50 in the country from Lamarck High School, Jessica Palmer. I was given the information. I wrote about it. It's on my website. I tweeted it. It's been retweeted. It is confirmed. I know it's confirmed. I know it's legit. I've read it from a whole bunch of sources, and I'm talking about very legit sources, including Todd Buchanan, the head coach, Jessica Palmer herself. So just because you don't see it on other websites does not mean it has not happened. It is a done deal.
In the news.
It is a done deal. Trust me when I say Jessica Palmer is a Houston Cougar beginning next year. And she is a 6-foot point guard. She's talented. Her biggest thing is she needs to be pushed to be great. And we'll see if she can get that done with her 4 years at U of H. Rice women signed 2 players as well on Wednesday. Elena Gums from Cibolo, Texas, and Alyssa Lang from Rockwall, Texas. They're both talented players. Coach Williams likes the two signings. That info is on the WhiteSox.com website. So it's a busy week. Basketball is a busy week for the Wildcat and myself. That's not over. We got one more game Saturday night to go to, and we'll have some more games next week. We'll be making a trip to College Station on the 15th of November for the Aggies getting their rings and playing on national TV on the ESPNU versus Louisville. It's a matchup of two top 10 teams, so It should be an outstanding game.
Be interesting.
3 o'clock tip-off, so if you had time, you can DVR it and watch it on all them fancy devices you have, ESPN, internet, or iPods, and this, that, and the other, whatever. So I think that's good enough for us. We can wrap it up here. You got anything you want to add? Basic thing we need to let everybody know. How can they find you, sir?
Let's see. First stop on the computer, on the internet, is www.kingsizeview.com. Go to that front page. My mug and I'll show up. It says the CSR, the College Sports Reporter. Hit that hotkey, and bam, you come to the www.aksv.blogspot.com. That's my blogger, and my Twitter hashtag AKSV.TheCSR.
And my website, HoustonRoundBallReview.com. A lot of information on there now. I'm starting to figure out how to link my Facebook post to my Twitter. So I'm doing some play-by-play updates in basketball. You can go to the fan page on Facebook, Houston Round Ball Review Facebook fan page, and follow me along there. Like it, become a fan of that. Please do. The tweets are starting to generate interest from basketball fans. We'll probably be tweeting from the Rice men's game this evening. So my Twitter hashtag is THEHR Review. Once again, that's THEHR Review. I'm on got my own blogs as well, men's, women's basketball blogs. Both the Wildcat and myself are on YouTube. We have our own YouTube channels. So we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, we have blogs, websites, Facebook. I think we covered just about everything that's going on media-wise right now. So thank you very much for listening to the podcast. Please tell your friends about it. We're not sure what the schedule is going to be next week for the next podcast because we'll be on the road on Tuesday, so we'll see how things go. Tell you about here. Just listen to, follow us on either website, and for more information, we'll see how everything goes and plays out. But as always, thank you very much for listening. And in conclusion, be true, be cool, and do more.